Živimo u društvu u kome neotuđiva prava na privatno vlasništvo i profitnu stopu nadjačavaju bilo koju drugu koncepciju neotuđivih prava kojih se možete setiti. Pravo na stanovanje i rad su u drugom planu. Ideja o javnom dobru i solidarnosti je postala retrogradna i previše apstraktna. Na kulturu i umetnost se, osim u slučaju nacionalne i tradicionalne, gleda kao na luksuz ili u gorem slučaju kao na parazitizam. Ova emisija se bavi jednim fenomenom koji u različitim evropskim državama već skoro 40 godina dekonstruiše ove probleme, a koji se u Srbiji pojavljuje tek u drugoj deceniji 21. veka. Reč je o skvotiranju. Skvotiranje se shodno potrebama definiše na različite načine. Političari, zakonodavci najčešće koriste onu najbanalniju i najformalniju definiciju, koja skvotiranje tretira kao nezakonito zauzimanje prostora od strane pojedinaca i grupa koje nisu njegovi vlasnici. To je čin protiv privatnog vlasništva koji se najčešće kriminalizuje i javno osuđuje. Ipak ova suva pravna terminologija i odgovarajuća interpretacija je daleko od dovoljne da bi se razumeo proces i delovanje cijelog jednog društvenog pokreta, koji decenijama postoji i deluje na evropskom i ne samo na evropskom kontinentu.
I just learned about all these things in 1981. That was the year when we squatted Regenbogenfabrik here in Kreuzberg. And this was only maybe the peak of something what started half a year before in December. In 1980 we had many squats in Kreuzberg, and in these days maybe 20 flats had been squatted, and then they tried another house, and it was the first time they evicted, and there had been a huge demonstration. Very many people went to the jail, and since then it was an attention to that. The public said, oh, there's really something happening, and people went into that movement. And when we talk about maybe 20 houses in 1980 in December, we had been in March 81 the 114th house. And this movement lasted until 1984. Then in December, the last house here in Reichenberger Straße had been evicted, and that was the end of that movement. But it had first stories earlier in the years, in the 60s, 70s, maybe in Frankfurt, in Cologne, in Hamburg. We had people looking for in London and in Amsterdam. And later, after us, there was a new movement in the 90s, beginning of 90s. After the wall came down, there had been movements in East Berlin.
Actually, we here in Potsdam always hearing about the golden squatting times. Yeah, after the wall came down, Potsdam was the town with the most squatted houses in whole Europe per people living in the town. Now there is only one squatted house left here in Potsdam, and it's quite more difficult to squat a house.
We stayed here then for 3 years without a contract, and in 1984 it was quite narrow. Most of the houses had been evicted or legalized. We've been under the last 10 of these 180 houses which had no contract, and we had a bargaining process of years and years, and yeah, in 84 in August we could sign a contract.
Istovremeno različiti odgovori država, institucija, političkih i pravnih subjekata kroz sve ovo vreme dali su politički i u nekim slučajevima pravni legitimitet ovakvim akcijama. Naime, mnogi skvotovi u Evropi su davno legalizovani ili pak dati na korišćenje grupama na određeno ili neodređeno vreme, dok se javni diskurs o skvotiranju menja u pravcu preispitivanja legitimiteta, a ne legaliteta ovakvih akcija.
Yeah, we are standing in Freiland. It's a huge youth and cultural center here in Potsdam, and we fight for it since 4 years or something like this, and there's a lot of things happened in the last years. Also, we squatted some places here in Potsdam. Not for a long time. We did like cultural squattings for making a discourse about free space in Potsdam. If you see this project, we are arranging with authorities. Yeah, we are not squatted. We just pay any rent for the whole project. We often have to deal with these critics that we work in an alternative way of culture. We are between a squatted place and the normal cultural project, and so I'm a little bit divided. I understand every squatted place who says, okay, you don't have to deal with the authorities, so then you lose your autonomic way of living. We choose to deal with, and it works. We are still free to say what we want to say and to do what we want to do.
Ali zašto je skvotiranje važno i koja su to pitanja i problemi na koje je ono ukazalo? Odnosno, kako je nešto što je isprva tretirano kao prosto, nezakonito zauzimanje prostora postalo legitimno te izraslo u društveni pokret koji je vrlo značajan za razvoj jedne nove kulture u Evropi? Odgovor na ovo pitanje je vrlo jasan i konkretan. Skvotiranje kao društveni pokret je pokrenulo neka od gorućih pitanja koja se nalaze na marginama društava, koja teže sistemu neoliberalnog kapitalizma. Otvorilo je pitanje krize stanovanja, preskupih stanova i beskućništva i na taj način ukazalo i reagovalo na nepoštovanje nekih od najosnovnijih prava koje bi svaki pojedinac morao da ima: pravo na krov nad glavom.
2 years ago, I think, I was living in a flat share with 2 other people, and we had already things that we were doing apart from living together. We were trying to make projects together as well, and apart from that, I was interested in this aspect of collective life since a long time, because I've been always flat sharing in London and in Paris. So for a financial reason, squatting was also an option. Squatting was something that I knew. So it was an option in my head, and I wanted to get more experience in getting involved in bike workshops, bike cooperative workshops, and in particular in squats, and that's what led me to the Standall Collective, who I had heard wanted to have a bike workshop and had some space and had just been opening. So that was 1.5 years ago.
I'd say that it took firstly like 4 to 5 people that are really interested in opening squats, and then once you have a target and you say, okay, but we need a bit more people because it's a building and you need at least 10 people. It's good to run a squat and a building something. So we started to look around our friends who was interested in live in a squat. So I'd say, like, of course, it's an alternative way of life, but it's also an economic reason to live in squats.
Just if people are aware some good how to live together and enjoy the fact of living together. I like to live with people. I also like to have my own time, and it's possible to have both of that, and both of that, having the capacity of having both of that, make day-to-day life much easier. When you have problem, you have others. When you have good time, you have people to share it with. When you want to do your own stuff, you can, I don't know, it's good for life. Yeah, that's good for life that I see and now decided.
I don't see the very common one. There are so many. There is maybe just advantage. Maybe there is something like we need space where we have a different way of life, not only papa, mama, children, but something to share with the whole group and shared responsibilities. Having a space for working, for your living, and don't have a boss, but you share in a collective way. There's also having space for the neighborhood. That neighborhood is meeting and developing their own aims and develop an idea to fight for it. And so you need a public ground for making things. And all this together is the mixture. What is the nerve, or is the nutrition for a movement like that?
We wouldn't stay here in this place if there weren't people who squatted and show the society, okay, you have to fight for the spaces you want to fulfill with cultural and living actions. You can't stay there and wait until somebody comes to you and say, okay, you have a nice cultural idea, maybe you want to have my place. You have to fight for it. So squatting is always like giving a push to the movement of alternative discourses. So squatting is a really important thing in making a new discourse in society.
Također skvoterski pokret je obezbedio prostor i okvir za delovanje različitih grupa koje se bore protiv mržnje i isključivanja svakog ko je drugačiji, to jest onih koji se bore protiv rasizma, ksenofobije, seksizma, homofobije i sličnih negativnih društvenih fenomena. A s druge strane afirmisao je ideje solidarnosti, samoorganizovanja i podstakao pojedince da se više aktiviraju u svojim lokalnim zajednicama, da sarađuju i zajedno grade sa svojim komšijama.
There are many people from many different backgrounds. We have illegal immigrants, as well as young unemployed, as well as more older unemployed, as well as freelancers, and so we get a different population. So I guess it looks more like a family stuff than like a squatting stuff, because we don't really look like the classical punk anarcho squats. And so people are, although they are afraid of the idea of squat, I think when they see inside it looks like a normal house except with a bit more color, maybe, and a bit more funny people, but okay. It doesn't look so wrong. And I mean, when we have our weekly open doors on Sunday, then there are kids coming with parents and stuff, and we make crepes, and so it's on the free shop, bike workshop and stuff.
We had to sit down and say, hey, what we're doing with this place, and we realized it is 1,000 square meter, and there is also some place for living. We've been 30 people, it's not enough. So we started really a rally and saying, come on, there is space, use it, come and use it. And so we had the cinema, and so we had people who want to do concerts. So we had a huge cultural initiative. We had the place for having the bicycle workshop. That means something to organize mobility in a cheap way. We had the carpenter's workshop, build yourself for the things you're living in, or you have the cafe just to have a place to meet and don't pay every time a lot of money to sit down and have a cafe and things like that. And other places developed similar things, like Babylonia. You have a place to learn languages, and you organize that in a different way. Of the relationship of pupils and teachers is more equal and things like that. Yeah.
The fact that we have activities for the public is really good, like the bike workshop and the AMAP, which is we are the distribution point for a weekly basket of organic vegetable, and there are like at least 50 people who come in every Tuesday, and there are a wide range of people, old, students, and middle-aged, whatever. That really helped us, I think, for the neighborhood. And what helped us was the longevity. We've been staying in the area for 1 year and a half, opening one house and then another one and then another one, and 2 are still on. And it was one of our priority to open around the place, because we know how it's important to build up a local base.
Having a space like that makes us strong, and makes us to have good relationship to neighbors, and neighborhood is aware of each of itself and can fight for itself.
Drugo pitanje koje je skvotiranje otvorilo je problem javnog dobra, ili drugim rečima čiji je grad u kome živimo. Na primjer, u našem lokalnom kontekstu to bi zvučalo ovako: da li je Novi Sad grad investitora i političara koji mogu da ga menjaju kako im padne na pamet i osmišljavaju njegov urbani i kulturni identitet shodno svojim privatnim i političkim interesima, ili je grad javno dobro koje pripada svim građanima? Da li ti građani mogu da utiču na izgled i uređenje svoga grada i kako?
There's a new kind of action at Kotti, which is a place here in Kreuzberg, Cottbusser Tor. And the very good thing what I see now is that it's a new focus on this fight for our right to the city. I think this mixture of a new movement, which is fresh and strong, and the experience of older days, that will help.
So we have to do more change in the society, otherwise we are going in circles, yeah? We're squatting houses, and then we have a conflict with the society, because in in the modern discourse now, it's not allowed to go anywhere that belongs to someone else. So we have make not only the discourse about squatting, we have to make a discourse about what belongs to the society. And I think the houses, the places to live, and the places where people meet, celebrate and love together, that should belong to the society and not to several people.
Kreuzberg used to be always a kind of poor place of Berlin, and it's been neglected after the war because they decided we knocked it down. All these buildings from the 19th century, nobody loved again, and they wanted to knock them down completely, the whole area. But people started to like it, and when the squat happened, the first aim was not the social center, but also to stop a certain investor here, because there was a sniff of something like corruption. There was an investor, he was able to buy some more than 100 houses, and it was really a public squatting and a political squatting to say we stop that certain investor. And then there was a lot of research before. How is the situation here? What kind of place it is? How is the neighborhood? How is the social situation here? And the people who did the research learned that there have been more than 100 children. There was no place where you could look after them, and there no kindergarten, nothing. They played on this empty place here, and you must know that it was a place with chemical rubbish, and the children played in between, nobody cared about. And so the very first thing coming here was stopping the investor and cleaning up the place. And then we developed a social project.
Cultural squatting means like you show the society something about reclaiming the houses where they live, and to show how you can change the usability of a house, or how you can reclaim it to make something for a community. There is more than going to the office from 9 to 5.
Ovaj društveni pokret ima takođe ogroman značaj za razvoj jedne nove i drugačije kulture, one koja nije rezultat zvanične kulturne politike, podobnih aktera i sistemskih rešenja, niti je nastala kao rezultat težnje za profitom i komercijalizacijom. Naprotiv, reč je o kulturi koja se stvara od dole, koja je savremena, autentična i nezavisna, te koja se bavi svakodnevnim problemima i potrebama. Otud nije iznenađujuće u kojoj su meri umetnici i subkulturne grupe najrazličitijih izraza i ideja prišle pokretu, radile, stvarale i živele u ovim autonomnim kulturnim zonama.
At the beginning and still now we had there was a status of inhabitants and the status of non-inhabitants but artists, because we had a group of girls who 3 to 6 of them who had invested the workshops and were doing paint and stuff, and they were very active because they were friends as well as the collective, and because they liked working with us, they were very active in everything about the squat.
Du bist mein ganzes Leben, darum singe ich dir ein Lied. Ein Lied mit 3 Akkorden, mit Melodie und Musik. Du bist für mich die Sterne, die Sonne und der Mond, der Wald und auch die Bäume, die Gleichglanzigen und Mond und Namen. Hab ich dir mein Leben alles gekauft. Ich möchte damit sagen, dass ich dich liebe. Meine Liebe ist ja Liebe, nicht Wein. Meine Liebe ist lieber Rot, oder Wein.
Situation in Berlin is a bit strong against squatting, but it's still a good instrument.
There are many details and subtleties that allows you to open or not open squats. Of course, laws are changing and they become more repressive, but I wouldn't say like compared to England or Holland or maybe in China it was different. but I don't think there is much changes in the law itself. But it's also like how the administration and how the police react.
A question was, what is happening to the people in jail? And there was to say there is no negotiation as long as somebody is in jail from our movement. And that was for a long time the platform. But this was difficult to keep, because in many things it was, if we don't save this place, what will happen? Will we lose it or will we keep it? And so we had different movements. We had the non-negotiating front and we had the negotiations. And so there was a deep split in that movement.
It's talking a lot that helps us know each other and understand each other and having the less conflict as possible. And also I think we are quite a positive group, and so that made a big difference about energy. There is ups and downs. This winter was a bit down in terms of activity because it was cold as well. You have a lot of factors.
And they are full of subtleties otherwise, and it has to be seen from the inside, actually, I think.
Actually, the problem always is like when you do like squattings or demonstrations, the people expect that something will break. Yeah, we will throw stones or we will destroy something. This didn't happen at any time. We were always like loud and creative, and so they had no point to criticize us in this way.
A good example is now an address called Stille Straße, that is in Pankow in the north of Berlin, and it is a squad which is in the moment they let them in, because the interesting new thing is it's not the young people about 20 and they don't know what to do next, whatever. No, they are the old people. They are 60 and above, and they squatted a house which used to be, or still is, a center for the senior people, where they can do some cultural work, some knitting, some whatever. And the district of Pankow decided this house is too expensive for us to keep in a good shape, and we're going to sell that, and the old people can go somewhere else. But the old people are not so easy going somewhere else. It's maybe too far, or they are less remembering where to go. And they said, no, you can't plant an old tree somewhere new. It is our place. That is a squad which is really successful in the moment. I'm really happy. I was able to visit them, and they are strong, and they know what to do, and they had very many politicians there, and the district is just now starting to think again.
A šta se za sve to vreme dešava kod nas? Iako su mnoge grupe i pojedinci još od 70-ih razmišljale i radile na sličnim ciljevima, skvotiranje je ovde fenomen novijeg datuma. Najpoznatiji primjeri su svakako društveni centar u Novom Sadu i Inex film u Beogradu, i mada se još uvek ne može govoriti o skvoterskom pokretu u Srbiji, delovanje ovih grupa pokazuje postojanje potrebe za ovakvim prostorima. Istovremeno, velika količina kulturnih sadržaja koja je za kratko vreme nastala, prezentovana i producirana u ovim centrima, jasan je znak da se ni mi ne razlikujemo toliko od drugih delova Evrope.